Good morning, everybody. How is everyone? Or in your part of the world, it might be afternoon or good evening. I'm Victoria Jennings from Entrepreneurs Business School, and I'm here today with another Taking Care of Business session for you. So today, we're looking at tackling the biggest challenge for aspiring entrepreneurs, and that is to transition from being an employee to having maybe a side hustle and developing the mindset to a business owner. Okay, so if you're working 9 to 5 and hustling on the side to build your own business, this is for you. If you're not doing that, then this really isn't going to be very helpful for you today. I'm sorry, but there'll be other taking care of businesses that will be more applicable to you. Okay, so many entrepreneurs get stuck because they're still thinking like employees. They're still exchanging time for money. And when you first decide to start a business, as we all have at some point in our lives, unless you've got a lot of capital behind you and you go and buy a business, that's totally different. But if you're bootstrapping a business, if you're building a business and you're funding it and you haven't got a loan to do that and you've got no capital to do that, then you're probably in a situation where you're still working for a certain amount of time every week. And working on your business the other times, and hopefully working really hard on the business and long hours and not wasting time watching TV and being on social media unless it's to network, right? So I remember these days, and I'll talk about my experience a bit later on because I bootstrapped my first college. Okay, so common mindsets that we need to address when you're an employee and you're in that employee mindset is, I get paid for the hours that I work. Now, a lot of solo entrepreneurs still get paid for the hours they work. So I'm talking about people who might be bookkeepers, or who might be providing some sort of marketing material service or graphic design service or any of those sorts of things, websites, developing websites. Often, not all the time, but often, they're still exchanging an hourly rate in order to do those projects. As long as you stay in the mindset of the hourly rate, you are going to stay in a business that needs you to turn up in it every day, all the time. And if you take time off, your money stops because it's relying on you to keep going. Okay. Now, what I do is I take entrepreneurs on the journey from start up to scale up to stepping out while still owning your business. That's what I'm all about. So I'm attempting this morning to take you on a journey of how you get out of that mindset and how you build your business. Doesn't mean you've got to do it tomorrow, but at least you have the roadmap that you can follow so that you can actually get out of this mindset, stop exchanging time for money, and get to a place where you're exchanging value for money. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot of people think they've got, they need to do everything themselves to save money. That's a fallacy as well. You need to delegate and outsource to people who have got better skills than you have in certain areas and leverage that, because they're going to do it much faster than you can do it. They're not going to procrastinate over things that may not be in alignment with who you are. So they will get the job done faster. So actually, you're not spending more money, you're actually saving time, which also saves money. Okay, so, and the other thing, the other fallacy is that they think that having a job is security and the business is a risk. Well, it's actually the other way around, okay, because having a job, you can become redundant at any time. You don't know exactly what the business owner, what their financial situation is at any time. I mean, unless you're the CEO, you don't know that. Okay, so they could be in a really bad situation and you may not even know they're in a really bad situation. So there is no job security. Unless you're in government, maybe that's the only one I can think of. But if you were in America at the moment, even that's not true, is it? So, but a business, you're going to do everything you possibly can to make sure that business stays in business. You're going to be motivated to make sure it stays in business. You're going to do whatever it takes to make sure it stays in business. So these beliefs about exchanging time for money and the worker minds, what I call the worker mindset, these beliefs can limit your potential, and they can lead to burnout because you'll be trying to do everything, and you'll be like the octopus trying to juggle everything, do it all yourself. And, you know, everything is just a nightmare and everything sucks and your energy is depleted. So all you've managed to do is create another job for yourself. Admittedly, you're the boss, so that's nicer, and that is the first step. All right, I'm not trying to degrade that. And I know a lot of people here are in this position. I'm not trying to degrade that at all. It's the first step, and it's a wonderful step because only 5% of the population will take that step in the first place. Okay, so congratulate yourselves for taking the step because you're one of the 5%. But if you want to be one of the 1% that creates wealth and creates a legacy, then you need to listen to what I'm talking about, okay? Because this is about creating a legacy. This is about getting something that is more than your job. It's about growing something. What I do with people, it's about growing something that you can leave to your kids, okay? So we've got to shift you from time for money to value for money. That's the first shift. Business owners get paid for the value that they provide. Okay? Not the time they spend. It's all about value. How do we create value? We create value through products and services. Okay. So, for example, if you create a digital product or a service and you package it up, you can sell that multiple times. A product is gorgeous because you can sell it multiple times. You can actually leverage that product, okay? And you can put it on autopilot so that it makes money and has buyers even while you sleep. Perfect example of providing value for money, okay? And is that better for you as the business owner? Absolutely it is. So the first thing you should work out is what can you package up to be able to sell on autopilot while you sleep. Should be the first thing you're looking at, okay? So the next shift is you have to go from worker to creator. What do I mean by that? Workers execute tasks and creators or business owners create value and leverage opportunities. Value and leverage opportunities. Big difference from executing tasks, okay? So every time you do a task, you can document the steps that you're doing, even if it's just a checklist. And then you're going to start create a foundation of a system. So as you grow, you can share that system with the people you bring on board to start freeing up your time, knowing that everything's going to be done as you need it to be done. All right? That's another big tip. And that creates your operational manual, and you do it as you go, and then it's not a big job to do. So you start doing it now because you've got to set up your business to be how you want it to end in the beginning. That's what Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp is all about. It's about setting up your business, making sure you have the roadmap, knowing exactly what comes next and when it comes, so that you can make sure that you're going to have a business that is going to actually be a legacy for your family. And it might not happen tomorrow. It will depend on a whole lot of variables and your financial situation and your business and what your business is. It's going to depend on so many variables, and that's why I don't say, oh, you're going to make X amount of dollars in, 12 weeks. I don't do that because there's too many moving parts. Okay, but at least you have the roadmap and you know what to do next. And a lot of you have no clue at this point in time what that roadmap even looks like. Okay, so you have to move from being risk adverse to growth oriented. That's another mindset shift. So employees are trained to avoid risks. Okay, that's just how it is. That's how they show up, and they're wanting to be secure. And this mindset that I said is a false mindset anyway. But they have this thing about security, and they know that they go to work and they exchange their time for money, and they're going to get X amount of dollars every week without fail. But they also are not going to grow their wealth that way. They might own their house, they might even own a couple of investment properties along the way, but they're not going to create real generational wealth. Okay, so you have to invest in your own skills is another thing that you need to do. So you want to get your skills to be the best that they can be, and then you want to focus on those in your business, as I've said before, and outsource everything else. So that's it's a calculated risk. Okay, it's a calculated risk. Investing in your own skills, marketing or tools, whatever that might be. It's not an expense. Now, a worker will see that as an expense. A business owner sees that as an investment. So when you have mentors, you should always have mentors. Always. I have mentors. I've told you that before. I've got 2 mentors at the moment that I'm working with. Both around social media, because my social media knowledge is pretty low. Will I always be doing the doing of it? No, because I'm bootstrapping Entrepreneurs Business School right now, because I don't believe in throwing in a lot of capital. I think that can be too risky and a bit of a gamble, right? So I prefer to bootstrap it and do a bit of the work myself, my sweat equity instead of my capital equity. And sweat equity is a little different, but I still have that big plan, and I know how to get it to that next level and the things I need to put in place to know what to do, because I've done it before, and I can do it again and again and again and again and again and again. I also invest in companies, so if I don't want to do the bootstrapping model, I don't have to. I enjoy the bootstrapping model, to be honest. I love doing it. I love watching the business grow from nothing, and what I create out of it, and what I make it worth. And it was worth nothing when I began. I love that. I get a lot of self-satisfaction out of that. Now, that is an entrepreneurial mindset. That is not a worker mindset. Okay? You always allocate a small amount of your earnings towards growth. So you put a percentage, usually 10%. You put that to one side, and that's about being able to reinvest in your business in something, whether that be a mentor or whether that be VA or whatever that might be. You reinvest to help grow the business. That's how you do it. So the practical action steps are: reframe how you view your time. Time can be spent or time can be invested. An entrepreneurial mindset is time invested. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm investing a lot of time into social media. Most of my time at the moment is being invested in social media strategies and learning, because it's very foreign to me. Because my other business is about business relationships, business to business, and you go in and you have a meeting with people and you get business that way. This is very, very different, okay? So I'm learning again. So see it as an investment, not as a cost. Prioritize your time, because it's the most valuable asset we all have. Time is the most valuable asset. Giving of your time is most valuable asset that you have. And you should be giving your time to people who are going to value it. And you should be giving your time to people that you can leverage your time. Very, very important. Prioritize activities that move the needle of the business, like marketing or product creation or learning, as I said before. Cease all distractions as soon as you can. TV, social media scrolling, the senseless stuff. We need to do it to recharge. Not saying you don't do it at all. I'm just saying you don't do it for 8 hours a day. Okay? So until you've fully transitioned into your business full-time, you don't do those things. You focus on your business, you focus on learning, you focus on moving the needle, you focus on getting to the next step. And you do that the majority of the time, okay? you productize your knowledge. So whatever that knowledge might be that you have in your business, how can you make it a product that you can actually automate and sell? Do that immediately, because you're going to be making money while you sleep. And the mindset rituals for consistency: implement daily rituals that reinforce your business owner mindset. This could be reading business books. It could be watching YouTube videos about how to do something. It could be journaling your goals and helping the manifestation process. Or it could be listening to entrepreneurial podcasts, etc. in the car. Like, the car is a wonderful place where we spend a lot of time. I listen to podcasts because I want to be learning while I'm driving. Okay? And I've done that forever. So I don't waste that time. That time is invested in my growth. Does that make sense? So again, that's the entrepreneurial mindset, not the worker mindset. All right. So comment below which part of the entrepreneurial mindset matches with you, or which part of the entrepreneurial mindset you don't have yet, or you know it's missing and you're going to work on. I'd love to know and give you some feedback. I think it's very interesting, this entrepreneurial mindset thing. I was in it at a very early stage. Even when I was a worker, I didn't want to be a worker. I didn't. I had a vision of much bigger things from a very, very young age. And, when I bootstrapped my business, yes, I did work while I was bootstrapping it. And I worked 3 days a week consulting. So it was at a high level. Still hourly rate, but it was a high hourly rate. And they were happy because they just wanted me to be on their team. They were happy for me to go to 2 days to 1 day and then finally out. I was very upfront about what I was doing and that I was creating a business, and I would one day transition to it. And I took the risk by telling them. They could have sacked me that day. But the business was not in any competition with what I was doing with them. Nothing at all. It was completely different related area. So there was no conflict of interest. And I had a good relationship with them. And I never burn a bridge. That's another thing. Never burn a bridge with someone you're working for while you're starting your business, because you never know when things might be a little bit tricky and you might need to go back and do a few more hours work. So always leave an opportunity in a good way. Just never burn a bridge. Never burn a client. Just never burn anything, because you never know when you'll need them again. Okay? And you don't know who they know either. You don't know who they know, and that could make sure you're never going to work with certain people because of who they know. Okay? So stop spending time. That's the biggest thing. Start investing your time and find ways of how you can exchange value for money rather than time for money. And then you're going to have something that's really, really worth it. Now, if you want to know a little bit about what the steps are on how to grow your business, we've got a business health checklist that you can use. It's very simplified. It's what we cover in the Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp in a lot of detail, but at least it's an outline of the things you need to put in place and when you need to have them in place. It can be a little overwhelming when you see it at first, but remember, it's a journey, and this checklist is a journey from just starting to having multiple teams and multiple streams of income. Okay, so it might be just a few pieces of paper, but it represents probably 5 to 10 years of work. So don't get overwhelmed, all right? But it shows you what's necessary to put in place. So yeah, if you would like a copy of that, just put the Business Health Checklist, just put BHC in the comments below, or checklist in the comments below, and I'll make sure that you get an electronic copy of that for yourself so that you can have a look at that and go through it. And if you'd like to know more about how you can work with me in Entrepreneurs Business School, and particularly the Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp, we've got quite a few students in there now. They're having a great time and getting a lot out of it. So if you'd like to do that, comment Roadmap to Millions down below, and I'll know that you want to have a one-on-one with me, and we'll organise that. Okay? Have a great day, everyone. Keep in the entrepreneurial mindset. Keep it at forefront of what you're doing every day. Make sure you're investing your time and not spending it. And make sure you've got some products that you can actually sell while you sleep. I look forward to seeing you again next week for taking care of business. Thanks very much, everyone.